So in our calculator booklet, we have another tricky problem here that requires quite a few steps. But as always, our first step is the most important. That's recognizing the concept. So Dara drove from home to the airport to pick up her friend and came back on the same route. So she's going from home to the airport and then back. That's not a neat line. So we know that on the way there it's 55 miles per hour. Maybe helpful to diagram this out. And on the way back it's 45 miles per hour. So the total drive time was an hour and 20 minutes. How far is the distance? So we know that we're talking about miles as a distance. We have a time here. We have two rates. So whenever those are mentioned, we know that the formula distance equals rate times time is going to be at play. And we know that we're only really talking about one distance, because the distance from her house to the airport is going to be the same regardless. So we'll just call it D, right? So for the first leg, we can set this up in two separate ways. We have distance equals, so she drove there at 55 miles an hour, and we don't know how long that took her. And then on the way back, it's the same distance, so we'll keep that same D equals 45, and then the time it took over here, right? So let's call the first time X, the second time Y, okay? And we know the total time was an hour and 20 minutes. So the time of the first trip plus the time of the second trip should add up to an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to write that as 1 1/3 because 1/3 hours, that's the 20 minutes there. So now we kind of have a system of equations here, right? Because the distance equals 55x and the distance equals 45y, we can actually set those equal to each other. So 55x equals 45y, because we know they both equal d, so they must be the same. And then we can take that second part, and what we're going to do is just subtract the x over to the other side. So y equals 1 1/3 or 4/3 minus x. And then we substitute that in. So that gives us 55x equals 45 times 4/3 minus x. That gives us 55. X equals 60 minus 45x. And we continue doing our math here. Add the 45 to both sides. It's just arithmetic from here on out. 100x equals 60, or x is 0.6. Now we know that the distance, which is what we're looking for, equals 55x. So the distance equals 55 times 0.6, which ends up being 33.